There we are. There we are. The microphone's on and everything. Good evening, my little ruby red circles of lipstick around the nipple. How are you? Welcome to Scampy Friday Night Live. And we're going to squeeze as much fun, hilarity, jollity, warmth and togetherness into the next 30 minutes or so that we possibly can, huge melons. So there we are. A very warm welcome to you all. I hope you've all had a splendid day. I hope you're feeling rested, refreshed, possibly slightly pissed. And those of you who are more comfortable naked, then I hope you are as naked as the day that you were born and just fulsomely enjoying that considerable nudity. Who've I got? Justin George. Hello, Boat, and a jolly big old hello to you, sir. Lovely to have you here. Sarah Parsons popped in and said, "Hi, Jason. Not sure I'll make it tonight, but I will if I'm still awake." That's the spirit. Jimmy Quinn is here. Bless him, as always. What a stalwart. Let's raise our glasses to good old Jimmy Quinn, shall we? And thank you for all of the support, pretty much from day one, I think, isn't it, Jimmy? I mean, I think you've actually been on this channel longer than I have, and bless you for it. Your very good health, everybody. Up yours. Bottoms up. Lovely. Lovely. The M11 is here and says, hey, it's Scampy Friday, the official day of the week to munch on delicious and yet dubiously fishy cereal snacks. Quite right, too. But anyway, good evening to the perfectly formed Boaty's World community and to the equally perfectly formed Boaty. Well, as always, your insane flattery fluffs my ego like Lionel Blair being given a rusty trombone by Una Stubbs just when she got off the set where she played Aunt Sally on Wurzel Gummidge. Wurzel Gummidge. I haven't thought about that for a long time. Wurzel Gummidge. He used to swap heads, didn't he, depending on what he had to do. Oh, be quite cool if you could do that with penises. You could have like an everyday penis and a podgering penis. Interesting. Andrew Buttygig is here and says a very warm welcome to Boaty and everyone. Quick, hide your pickled onions. Matron is here and says, good evening all. I still haven't found what I'm looking for. I still haven't found Scampy Fries in my locality. It's a terrible state of affairs and I feel like writing to my MP. Well, I think you should. I think we should. Well, I've already said that I'm willing to nail myself to something to further the general availability of Scampy Fries. I think, says Emma Mellons, Boaty needs to show us his jar of pickled onions so we can check none are missing. I've got 2 jars of pickled onions at the moment, to be quite honest. That was just hilarious, says Matron. I imagine Boaty with a massive industrial-sized jar trying to persuade motorists to buy him petrol in exchange for 5 bottom onions. Just sound like the sort of thing I'd do, you know. Desperate times need desperate measures and all that. Peter P is here and says, good evening all. Had some very nice green asparagus today. Well, on its own, what did you have with it? Matron had a humongous haddock in cider batter. A bit of haddock inside her. Yeah. Bit of haddock inside her. There you go. There you go. With triple cooked chips, double tartar sauce. Oh, now, is that tartar sauce with double the amount of tartar in it, or a double helping of single tartar sauce? It's not clear, is it? A grilled lemon. Ugh. And for pud was Bakewell tart, which was a bit bland, to be honest, and clotted cream. Blimey. The dulcet thud of the willy-waving cloth muses Ivor Spotty Botty. Alan Simpson is here. Evening, Boaty, me old China, and a jolly good evening to you. Neil is here. Neil Gibbons, aka the Gibbonator, aka the very, 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 very nice man. And he says, hello, all. How are we tonight on this fine night? Has anyone seen the Northern Lights yet? Yeah, we're supposed to be being hit by an electrical storm caused by solar flares. And one of the side effects is we might get to see the Aurora Borealis or whatever it's called. Oh, it's all kicking off in Eurovision, isn't it? Where do you stand on the question of Israel competing in Eurovision? A lot of people aren't very happy about it. It's all kicking off in Sweden. One of the acts has actually been pulled off. And, you know, I don't mean tugged off like that. Pulled off stage, because apparently there was a backstage incident. He was due to go on and rehearse just before the Israeli, and something happened, and nobody's saying what it is. Barry Scrotter is here and says, evening. Boaty is, in so many ways, a man of the cloth, says Alan Simpson. And yeah, indeed. Indeed. On more than one level. I've got melons on my mind, sings Ivor Spotty Botty. Hi, Neil. No Northern Lights here. Too bright in London, says Matron. Oh, Matron, move somewhere darker. Chaz Brown is with us. Hi, Boaty. Hope you're well. I'm just back from a few days in Skeg Vegas, the land of fish and chips. Ah, yes. People are very fond of Skegness, and I have been there once for most of one day, and that was most of one day too long. If the coast of the United Kingdom is Brian Blessed's bottom, then Skegness would be the most prominent hemorrhoid. But I'm glad you enjoyed yourself, Chaz. Matron's having a laugh at the insane flattery. John Pertwee, yeah, what a legend. Neil says there's a tinge of purple in the sky at one point. I was genuinely going to drive into the sticks to see if I could see it, but I'm stuck with the van outside Sophie's. Oh, and he goes on to ask, is that the same as Dickens cider? I genuinely went to a pub, I think it was in Devon, and it was called the Slip It Inn. And they did their own home-brewed cider, which was, of course, called Slip It In Cider. True story. Oh, the asparagus was accompanied by pork casla, which is the neck bit, apparently. Well done with the haddock in cider, says Matron. It was a double helping of homemade tartar. Oh, gosh. That old campfire special brew Cummins cider, says Neil. Oh, yeah, there's a few. Oh, I hope the Netherlands hasn't gone completely. I loved that one. Oh, right, you're talking about the Eurovision. I don't know. I don't know how any of the acts are doing. I mean, we're going to come last, obviously. I just know that there are a hell of a lot of protests about Israel being allowed to compete. And I wondered where you stood on that. Evening, Boaty. OT. That was a hiccup. I managed to quell it, mostly. Evening, Boaty, and evening chat, says Mark Passad in the most softly beguiling tone. Yeah. Hello. My name's Captain Mustard. I was having a coconut macaroon this afternoon with Thora in the cafe next to the library, and she turned to me and she said, "Why are you always farting, Captain Mustard?" And I turned to her and I said, "Thora, Thora, Thora. Sometimes a man just has to let go with what's lurking in his bottom." And Thora turned to me and said, "Well, quite frankly, I think it's fucking disrespectful to do that in front of a lady. And also, when I entered this cafe, you didn't stand up. And a gentleman should always stand up when a lady enters the room." And I said to her, I said, "Thora, I'm no gentleman. I'm a camp, damp, northern Jesus. I flirt my own bird, and I like what I say, and I say what I bloody well like, and I blow off whenever I feel like blowing off. And quite frankly, Thora, many of my farts are not as trustworthy as they might be. And as a result of that, my pants are always very, very stained, and I feel no shame. I just give them to my wife, who has no autonomy, and she has to launder them and return them to me clean, knowing that the moment I put them on, they'll be dirty again, because my arse hairs are always absolutely coated in fart juice. Hey ho. More on that story later. The Northern Lights have been spotted just 5 minutes from me near Aberdeen, says Alan Simpson. One day I'll see them myself. Peter P says, the EBU says Juiced Klein is under investigation. Our act is pants, says Matron. I haven't heard it. I managed to. I do like Garner's pickled onions. Very nice, says Jimmy Quinn. And I agree with you, Jimmy. Absolutely lovely. Matron says, Thora, 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 this one's for you. Peter P's asking Jimmy Quinn if his tank is filled to the brim. It's uncouth, says DJ Palsy P, and I agree. It is damned uncouth, reprehensible, I would say. Either that was more than a fart, or Mustard has just sat on a shepherd's pie. He's terrible. He's a terrible man. Oh God, sometimes he makes me ashamed. Ashamed, I tell you. John Stoodley is with us and says, good evening, Boaty, good evening, chat. Good evening to you, John. Andrew Buttigieg, I've a spotted buddy, is asking, is ABBA in this year's Eurovision? Well, they're not competing, but there is some lively debate as to whether they're going to play some part, either in real life or using their avatars, as they call them. I mean, let's face it, it's the Eurovision. It's the 50th anniversary of ABBA winning the Eurovision, and it's in Sweden. You can bet your bottom arse that ABBA are going to play some part in it in some way. It's an absolute given. It's a foregone conclusion. It's a foreskin conclusion. It's a four-fingered banana of a conclusion. And, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think I can give you any more help than that. And I will leave you to consider your verdict of not guilty. I never did it, Matron. Peter P's cracking on about my new pickled onions for petrol scheme. Do you think I've hit on something there? The talk about a wife washing husband's dirty pants makes me so thankful I don't have to wash anyone's grundies except mine, says Matron. Has Mustard ever asked you to pull his finger? Asked Alan Simpson. No, and if anybody asks you to pull their finger, don't do it. It's a very nasty trick. I uploaded a nice video today, says John Boaty, and you got a mention. Oh, that's very kind. Thank you for the insight, Boaty, says Ivor Spotty Botty. You're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. If I've got a spare insight, I'm always going to chuck it your way. And amazingly, I've completely caught up with the comments. So, over to you, lot. What would you like to talk about tonight? Anything? Oh, balls. Where's that gone? Oh, that was that was a disaster. I've lost it. Where's it gone? What's happened to it? It's completely... Oh, there it is. Oh, my God. Ah, there we are. You thought I was losing my touch, didn't you? You should have known better. Who do you consider to be the hotter ABBA lady, Mr. Boaty? Yeah, well, I mean, it's Anita, isn't it? I mean, there's only one. There's only one. It ain't going to be Frida. And Peter P agrees with me. But, you know, I would swap both of them for an Alanis Morissette or a Pepsi or, who did I think of the other day? It was a right fine looking piece, and I can't remember who it was. Oh, that's annoying. I worked up quite a fantasy about her as well. Who was it? Oh, God. Oh, Tony Basil. That's right. What a splendid bit of, marvellous. She's open-minded and double-jointed, and if that doesn't make for a fun evening, I don't know what does. That was funny, says Matron, trying to touch cloth. Neil says, I'm looking into a ZTT, the exact same as Ruby. The reg is whatever. So Ruby's sister. Fingers crossed, if I can acquire it, then it will be added to the fleet and used by my sister as her family car. It's behind you. It is indeed. It was. A guy was washing the car with his son, says DJ Palsy P. And the son says, Dad, can't you just use a sponge? Liz Hurley? No, a young Tony Basil. Yeah, well, Tony Basil, when she did Mickey, she was 39 when she did that. And, that would do. That would do very nicely indeed. What a split. I mean, she's still a fine-looking woman now, and she's 126. What? I should Coco. Hi, Jason and everyone, says Sarah Parsons, who against all the odds is still awake at damn near midnight on a Friday night. So everybody say good evening to the lovely Sarah, who is one of my beautiful people from what used to be a beautiful community, the UK singles community, and is now just a wasteland with mossballs, tumbleweed flowing through it. A place that was once full of hope, excitement, friendliness, support, encouragement, joy, laughter, is now just a barren wasteland. It's ever such a shame. I loved that place. But hey ho, what can you do? Things change. Bajork, says Andrew Buttigieg, and presumably that's on his list of ladies that he finds her. Tony Frazzle must be 150 by now. I think she's only in 120s, something like that. So there we are. I'm a little bit tired, darlings. How are you feeling? How are you all feeling? Oh. I can only apologise. New candles. Tea lights, Sarah. Yeah, tea lights. Don't tell anybody I stole them from work. I'm like that. I mean, I say stole, appropriated, borrowed. I can take what I like from there. It's not stealing. Honestly. I've also got some lovely curry, some absolutely curry. That's all sauce. That's going to be 3 portions of supper. That is. It's only sauce. There's no meat in there. I've got very nice rice. Steamed rice is very, very nice. Pilau rice is very, very nice. Garlic rice is very nice. But coconut rice is shit. And you know, I don't know what you're thinking of. Coconut rice. Just don't go there. Don't go there. We used to do pineapple rice. Can you imagine anything more ridiculous? And I insisted that we take it off the menu because anybody who is prepared to eat pineapple rice does not deserve to eat our food. And there's a roti in there. That's quite cool, isn't it? I like roti. Feature number 7. What do you prefer, roti or naan? No new flowers at work then. No, I've not been able to nick any new flowers. I'm going to do something that I haven't done for a long time, tomato darlings. Now, normally I whiz into Sainsbury's when I'm at work. That has become somewhat problematical since I have more responsibilities. In exchange, to be fair, for no more money. So I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying to be a bit more pursy professional. So tomorrow morning, darlings, I'm going to go and do what I believe is called in the north a big shop. I'm going to go to my local Sainsbury's in Matlock, which is one of my favourite supermarkets in the whole of the UK. Absolutely beautiful. Or as beautiful as the supermarket can be. Well, the supermarket isn't beautiful. Of course it isn't. It's just in a really beautiful setting. If you've ever been to Sainsbury's in Matlock, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's built into white cliffs and it butts right up to not 1, but 2 railway lines. It butts up to the, what's it called? Peak Rail on the one side, and then the what's it called? The Derwent Valley line on the other side, which now terminates at Matlock. Didn't used to. Used to go right on through Matlock, Darlydale, Bakewell, Monsell Head, right through to Buxton, and then on to Manchester. But Dr. Beeching did his thing, the slimy arsewipe. Oh, God. One thing I would love to do, if I could go back in time and change things, well, not only would I track down Alanis Morissette and marry her, but I would stop all of the railway lines being closed. Tragic, really. Tragic. But yeah, it's a wonderful supermarket. So I'm going to go and I'm going to kind of try to buy my stuff for the week. Now, that's not going to be a big shop in the way that most of you might think of a big shop, partly because I'm a single man living alone. So how much do I need? But then I need even less than that because I bring stuff from the restaurant. So my big shop is probably what to you lot would be a daily shop. But nonetheless, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to film it. I'm going to make a video about going to my to my local supermarket because it's a very beautiful journey. And I'm pretty sure that in all the time I've been a YouTubist, I've never done that journey with you. So it'll be some new roads that some of you can hopefully enjoy. And the supermarket is, it's a lovely spot, and I can show you the railway station and whatnot. Oh, it's going to be so much fun. In fact, this video of me going to Sainsbury's to do a big shop is probably going to be my breakthrough video. once this video comes out and goes absolutely viral, I'll never need to work again. I'm going to be fighting the women off with a shitty stick. Oh, it's going to be marvellous. But yeah, that is the plan. And in a weird way, I'm quite looking forward to it. Because I rush into Sainsbury's, I get a couple of bits on it. I'm looking forward to having a good old meander around the supermarket and thinking, and looking at stuff and thinking, oh, I might try that. Or, oh, I haven't had that for a while. I might buy the things to make a spaghetti bolognese. We've been talking about that recently, and I would rather like it. I am thinking, darlings, I'm thinking about potentially doing roast beef for Sunday lunch, which is a treat I haven't had for a while. Or I'm thinking about roasting a whole chicken, which is a lot cheaper. And Sainsbury's do wonderfully small chickens. You know, you can get chicken for about £2.50. And I'd get about 4 days out of that. And obviously, you know, when you have a longer time to browse and enjoy moving around the supermarket, you have more opportunities for more effective shoplifting, which is a great way of making your weekly shopping budget go a bit further on the basis that you can outrun the security guards. But they're seldom that fit, to be honest. So shouldn't be too much of a problem. Yeah, and I'm actually quite looking forward to it. So there you go. I mean, it'll just be nice to go to a nicer supermarket. Feature number 8. What are your favourite supermarkets in the UK? Now, sorry, the normal frog in the throat. I am on record as saying that my favourite supermarket outrageous. My favourite supermarket is the Asda in Dowlais Top. It's a supermarket effectively perched on top of a Welsh mountain, and I just think it's rather fabulous. Asda wouldn't be my first choice of supermarket. My first choice of supermarket, quite honestly, would be Waitrose. But I just love the location. And my second favourite in the whole of the UK is genuinely Sainsbury's in Matlock. I was working around Matlock when they built that. At the time that they built that, I was based at New Home Hospital in Bakewell, and I was working for the old NHS. Driving ambulances, and they were, and I kind of watched that being built. And it's just a rather lovely setting. I even worked from there when they set up. This is right, true story, right? Obviously, you know that after my divorce, I worked for Sainsbury's, and well, actually, before and during, but that was just for a bit of fun and something to do. After the divorce, I actually had to do it to live. But Matlock set up a click and collect thing when I was working at Chesterfield. But they didn't have the facilities then to do a click and collect. So Chesterfield had to, if you ordered a click and collect shop from Matlock, then it actually came from Chesterfield. And I was kind of overseeing setting it all up. But there was a bizarre period, it was about a month, I think, when they were trying to launch this and they weren't getting any orders. But they wanted the van to be sitting there in the car park to show that click and collect was operative. So there was a week or two where my job was to drive an empty van out to Matlock, sit in the car park all day, and then go back. And I did that for one day. And then I thought, well, bollocks to this. Sod that. So I drove the van there in the morning, parked it up, locked it, fucked off. Got the train, got the train, got the train to Matlock Bath or wherever else I fancied. Spent the day just enjoying myself. And then at the appropriate time went back to the van and drove it back. And I did that for a while. And then they came up with the idea of leafleting and handing out leaflets and that sort of thing. So I was given a big pile of leaflets to walk around, hand out to people, engage them in conversation, tell them how wonderful click and collect was. I said, fine, lovely. You know me, I love speaking to people. Give me the leaflets, leave it to me. And so I drove to Matlock, parked the van up, locked the van, having taken the leaflets out, went to the railway station, left all of the leaflets in the waiting room, and went off and enjoyed myself. Went around all the charity shops, the bookshops. One day I did the full walk all around Lovers Walk, around Matlock Bath. Mike, I was fit then. I was really super fit. Had a fabulous day. I walked about 18 miles. It was wonderful. Oh, gosh, they were happy days. Oh, dear. Right, let's catch up with your lovely comments, shall we? Where did I get to? Hold on. Oh, God, I've missed quite a few. God, you have been busy. Bloody hell. About here, I think I got to. Yeah, no new flowers at work. I adopted them. Quite right, Sarah Parsons. I adopted those candles. Tony Basil is 80, says Jimmy Quinn, and she looks damn fine. That was a good tune, lost for the want of fingering, says Alan Simpson. Those flowers look how I feel, says the M11. I'm sure he borrowed those roses from the graveyard on the way back from work one night. I didn't. I borrowed them from work. They were going to be thrown away. And I thought they had a few days left in them. I must have been around 10 when Tony Basil sang Mickey. Good grief, says DJ Palsy P. Pineapple only belongs on pizza, says Peter P. That's going to possibly open some debate. What about coconut naan, asks Sarah Parsons. Peshwari naan, disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Pineapple rice, says Matron. I like pineapple on a pizza, but in rice, that's horrifying. I love Peshwari naan, says the M11. Dear God. Matron says, I love me a keema or Peshwari naan. Dear God. Keema all the way, has to be done, says Neil. Oh, dear, dear, dear. You see, naan is another thing that was invented for European people. We eat roti. If you saw what went into making a naan, and if any of you, ladies or gentlemen, are attempting to watch your weight, anything of that nature, steer well clear of naan breads. Honestly, if you saw what went into a naan, you would be absolutely horrified. Absolutely bloody horrified. Swap naan for roti if you're, trying to control your calorific intake. The amount of sugar and salt that goes into a naan is terrifying. Never mind the dairy. Oh my God. I mean, yeah, they're lovely, but so incredibly, terrifyingly unhealthy. I mean, You know me. I've got a figure like a racing snake, and that doesn't happen by accident. You won't see me piling down the naan breads. No, I'm a good roti boy here. I don't even eat a whole roti. I only eat half. Save the other half for the next day. Or if you prefer, the next do. But I don't suppose you will prefer that. Why would you? Why would you indeed? Pineapple lube, says the M11. And yeah, that's okay, says Matron. Just as long as it's not in rice. Peshwari lube, says the M11. We only speak of curry lube on this channel, says Peter P. Peshwari lube would be a bit grainy, says Matron. And it's gritty for your pleasure, says Neil. Momo lube, says M11. Well, now, momo chutney lube could be a thing. God, now there's something I've never done. Oh, God, imagine smearing a woman's undercarriage in momo chutney and then just diving in. Oh. Whew. Have I got any momo chutney? Oh, check it out. I'm thinking of a whole new load of marketing possibilities for momo. Yeah. God, I mean, momo chutney is just like the best thing ever. So imagine smothering your partner in momo chutney and that, oh, God, that would be fabulous, wouldn't it? Although, you might just end up thinking, well, I've deployed all of the momo chutney. I might as well make some momo now. So you'd go and set the steamer up and say to your partner, you just stay there, and they're there, spread eagled on the bed, covered in momo chutney. Don't move. I don't want to get the sheets dirty. And then they have to stay like that, starfish, for 20 minutes while you steam your momo. And then you take your momo and you smear your momo on your partner to cover them in momo chutney before shoveling them down the little red lane. And that could be quite dangerous, because let's not forget that this chutney is smeared all over the nether regions of your loving partner. And if those momos are a bit hot, that could cause some damage, couldn't it? So I am going to have to urge you all, please, please, please be careful with your momo sexual adventures. And just a reminder that if you do not have availability of momos and or momo chutney, I can and do supply them. Frozen for your defrosting, steaming, oral pleasure. Discounts available to channel members, obviously. Oh dear. Well, hello, my lovelies. Oh, sorry, let's do it in his voice. Well, hello, my lovelies, says Captain Mustard. Curry lube was held for review. Blimey, must be filth. Emma, that's spicy, says Neil. Not recommended. Talking about the older momo. Oi, Captain, says the M11. Hello, lovely mustard, says Matron. Hello, lovely Emma, says the smarmy Captain Mustard. Spice is nice on the lady part, says Emma's Melons. Oh, there you are, you see. Hello, lovely Teresa. Hello, lovely Peter. Mustard's clearly feeling lovely tonight, says Emma. That's the spirit, Emma. New flavours of Boaty's podgering lube are always welcome. The momo chutney podgering lube, it's the way forward. It is the way forward. I quite fancy doing that now. I quite fancy doing. I've never done it. I've never done it. For some reason, I've never smothered a podgering partner in momo chutney. I mean, it's kind of too precious in a way, but I mean, you would have to combine it with momo. I think you'd have to have, it would have to be one of those more lengthy podgering sessions, a kind of, one that, not a frenzied pace one, but a leisurely podgering, where you've got a dish of momo at the side of the bed, and you just, and you just, you have, well, I mean, well, quite frankly, you enjoy a bit of momo while you're enjoying a bit of while you're enjoying a bit. You enjoy a bit while you're enjoying a bit, and why not? Why not combine two pleasures? That's what I say. I mean, you could do it all romantically. You could each you could like stick a momo in between your mouths and both nibble away on a momo until your lips meet. Although if it was me, I mean, at the end of the day, to momo, I'm just going to go kiss her on the cheek and say, thank you very much. But anyway, that's just me. We're not all the same. His beer must be hitting the lovely spot, says Matron, talking about lovely mustard. And the M11 says, actually, I think you're all rather lovely. Well, what a nice thing to say. Has said Sainsbury's got a calf? I love a good supermarket calf. It has got a calf, and the calf overlooks the station. I've only been in the cafe once, and the one time I was in the cafe it was after my accident and my first date with Boo. But at that time, I was still the artist formerly known as Mrs. Boaty, and I were still, and she took me to hospital because I could neither drive nor walk very well at that point. And then I had to go back for the X-rays and all of that. But we went to, she pulled a few strings because at that stage she was like up there in the old NHS hierarchy, a proper big cheese. So to save me the hassle of having to go to the Chesterfield Royal, she set up a thing at the Whitworth Hospital, which is a beautiful little old cottage style hospital. And she got all of the relevant people to go down there. I mean, it's a terrible misuse of taxpayers' money, and I can only apologise. But they all rocked up down there for me at her behest. And so we went there and I was sorted out. And then, bless her, because she was a good egg, basically, the artist formerly known as Mrs. Boaty, she said, look, right, you're crippled and you're going to be crippled for the foreseeable future. We'll go to Sainsbury's in Matlock and I will buy you copious quantities of everything and carry it for you so that you've got everything you need in the house, because God only knows when you're going to be able to leave the house again. And she did exactly that. We went shopping in she went shopping in Sainsbury's. I couldn't walk, so I couldn't really follow her about very well. But then we had lunch in the cafe, and that was one and only time that I've been in that cafe. But there we are. How big is a big shop? Do you have a list? Asked Sarah. I will make a list tomorrow morning, but it's going to be a tiny shop by anybody else's standards. I'm going to buy some toilet rolls, some stuff for Sunday lunch, wine, obviously. What else? Bit of salad, some potato peas, some green beans. What else? Oh, eggs. I'm going to buy some eggs. Possibly some bacon. Probably some bread. That's about it, really. Can't think. Maybe some washing up liquid. I don't know. But yeah, that's about it. Oh, yes, says Mustard. It's a lovely evening. What about spag bol lube? Asks the M11. Well, it would kind of need to be whizzed up, wouldn't it? And that would take the pleasure off it. I wouldn't mind eating some spaghetti bolognese off a pert breast. That would be quite nice, with lots of freshly ground black pepper. In fact, there's not much that I wouldn't eat off a nice pert breast. Me and Frank Sinatra, we're like that. His favourite breakfast, by all accounts, was scrambled eggs eaten off a hooker's breast. True story. True story. Google it. I'm not lying. Shall we have a Sunday cook along? Oh, good idea, Sarah. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, that would be good fun. He's had the loving beard. It's the type you see the drunken lad hugging his mate repeatedly saying, I love you, mate. You're like me family, you am, says Neil. Oh, dear. Oh, and Matron agrees and goes on to say, yeah, I'd marry you if you were a bird. And Neil says, exactly, Matron. I have experienced this before. I want food now, says Mustard. Lovely food of which tonight. Oh, he does that. Lovely food of which tonight. That's so grammatically incorrect. It's so northern. It's just wrong. Lovely food, which tonight I so far haven't got around to eating. It's a northern thing. They put an of in there where there shouldn't be one. It's not their fault any more than it's their fault that they all have whippets and wear flat caps. It's just a thing. And we shouldn't look down on them, to be honest. And now I feel slightly ashamed of myself for mentioning it. But, you know, I'm just going to have to live with that shame, aren't I? Hey ho. Nobody said that it was a perfect world. No one said it was going to be easy. God, I loved our Feed the Same Pet. What an absolutely brilliant series that was. Does the full assortment of Boaty's podgering lube fit in a little chef condiment rack? It would do. I had a little chef condiment rack and I lost it somewhere. I don't know where I left it. Oh, gutted. Nude, glorious, nude, says M11. Look, it's past midnight. You're going to get burps. You're going to get burps and you're going to get nonsense. I apologize. It just goes with the territory, you know. You have lovely curry from last night. Lovely mustard, says lovely matron. And then they wake up the next day, says Neil, and don't know how much of an arse they've been. Yeah, welcome to my life. I had lovely mustard on my lovely sausage, says a lovely M11. And Matron says, oh, yes, peeling them off the sofa and sending them on their way with coffee and toast in their belly. The only time I drink coffee, says Neil, is when I have a massive hangover. Double espresso and a McDonald's breakfast sorts you right out. Or getting a message, says Matron, saying, was I a twat again last night? Did I ask you to marry me? That was my thing. That was my thing. I used to propose every night for ages. I used to propose every night to somebody. I've done that until quite recently. Haven't done it for a little while, but it's not that long ago that, well, I mean, I used to propose to Bernard 6 nights a week. I don't think I've done it this year, but I definitely was doing it up to last winter. I used to propose to all sorts of people. I proposed to my boss once, my Sainsbury's boss. I meant it as well. God, she was fabulous. Funnily enough, I had a dream the other day, a few days ago, and it was one of those dreams where it told you something that was real. Now, this is a really weird thing. Bear with me. Do you know when at the moment you don't realize that something is happening, or you don't realize what the situation is? And then when you look back, days, weeks, months, or even years later, it suddenly hits you. Well, that was what the dream happened to me. My lovely Sainsbury's boss, in this dream, and it wasn't a made up dream fantasy thingy, in the dream, it just reran what actually went on. And I suddenly realized in the dream, and then when I woke up, and it was like a massive epiphany, and it was, because I was absolutely besotted with her. I was absolutely mad about her. And I didn't realize at the time that the door was open. And in this dream, the dream just ran through various scenarios where, in hindsight, things had been inveigled so that we were in certain, and the door was open. I didn't even realize it, and I didn't try to go through it, and I would have loved to have. And now I'm kicking myself, aren't I? Oh, yeah, genuinely, that's an actual thing. That's an actual thing. And we're not talking about when I was young and naive and whatnot. I mean, this is relatively recently. You'd think I would have spotted it, but I bloody didn't. Oh, that's another thing where you think, oh, if I could go back and do things differently, what? I should, Coco. I've just watched Hubnut's latest video about the MG ZT 260 V8, says John. Great car. Sounds nice. The view from the upstairs Asda Cafe in Inverness is pretty stunning, says Alan. Right over to the NC 500 direction. Oh, that sounds good. I like the Tesco in Carlisle, says Captain Mustard. It's not huge or anything, but I went there once and got a load of free stuff after they opened after a flood. I felt a bit bad accepting it. Well, you drove to bloody Carlisle to accept it. You can't have felt that bad. If you parked a van in a car park in 2024 all day, it'll either be nicked or smashed in, says DJ Palsy P. Not in Matlock, dear chap. Not in Matlock. For red wine, says Jimmy Quinn, Lidl and Aldi sell fantastic wine. The other week, I got 12 bottles of Chateauneuf du Pape at 12 quid a bottle. Takeaway naan may be bad, says Mustard, but all you need to do is leave out the sugar and change the oil. Yeah, but nobody makes it. You can't really make a successful naan at home. I mean, to make a proper naan, you need a tandoor. Anything you make in a pan is going to be half roti, half naan, really. But yeah, obviously it was a takeaway or restaurant naan that I'm talking about. I've got a figure like Big Daddy, says Jimmy Quinn. Well, nothing wrong with that. Jesus, he's got 24 hours worth of Momo lube in that freezer, says Matron. There was more in there as well. He's got the lube on tap, says Ivor Spotty Butty. 24 hours worth, Matron, says Neil. Jesus, that's a strong performance from Boaty. I bet he could only do 5 minutes of cunnilingus. I enjoy it. I love a bit of yodeling in the canyon. Oh, I'll happily stay down there for quite a while. Momosexual, says Peter P. Matron says, don't move. Don't stain the sheets. I have to steam the Momo yet. Bring Momo for lunch on Monday, says Mustard. We haven't got any gas. We've got no way of cooking it, Mustard. Although it's an idea, isn't it? Hang on. No, fuck that. Bollocks. Bollocks. It's your turn. It's your turn. I've done the last 4. And we were supposed to go halves on the last one, and you never sent me the bloody money. So it's your turn on Monday. Monday will be our final takeaway. Right, from now on, takeaways are when we have a lunch guest. Okay, that's the rule going forward. If we have a lunch guest, we do takeaway. If it's just the two of us, we will cook our own lunch. So don't try and weasel out of it, Mustard. It's your turn on Monday. And the last time we had guests as well, I did it. So it's your bloody turn. He's your mate. You can stump up for lunch, you tight-fisted, hairy, camp damn Jesus, you. And the week after, we'll do Momo when it's just the two of us. Oh dear. You had me going for a bit then. Yeah, don't try and weasel out of it. But seriously, we haven't got gas. We need to sort out a gas bottle for the caravan if we're going to cook in there, and we need to sort out the electric hookup so that we can have a microwave or a countertop oven or something to give us a fighting chance of making something. And if we're going to do the electric hookup, then right, okay. Spoiler alert. Plug your fingers if you don't want the spoiler. The SD1 is going. So when that goes, then let's get the caravan leveled up. When it's level and we've got proper access to it without having to climb over or around anything, let's get the electric hookup sorted. Let's set the kitchen up a little bit more properly. Let's get some gas so that we've got a stove and we've got an oven, and then we can properly cook. We're not doing that on Monday, right? It's a does lunch with on Monday. It's a takeaway, and you're paying. It's your bloody turn. God. Honestly. Momo sounds like a euphemism, says DJ Palsy P. Momo are not a euphemism. Momo are these little crescents of handmade joy. That's what a momo is, if you've never seen one before. To be served with momo chutney. Oh, disaster. Didn't mean that right. God, look at the time. I was going to go at midnight. Mustard wants some Monday Momo action with Boaty now. He wants to get out of pain for lunch. That's what he wants. Oh, Neil. Jimmy, I can't read that either. Oh, my God. Oh, that's a horrible thought, Neil. I'm not reading that out because that is just a horrible thought. I should have got that Momo lube idea copyrighted, says the M11. Now Boaty's going to nick it. I bloody am. Oh, dear. Oh, Mustard's getting feisty. They were talking about his love sausage. And he said, will you lot stop talking about my sausage unless you're prepared to take a bite? Now then. Oh, dear. Oh, Carrie Sparks is with us and says, Boaty, how did you first get into the restaurant business? Good question, Carrie. I first got into the restaurant business when I was 21 years old. and I wasn't sure I'd finished my studies. My my athletic career had finished very prematurely through injury, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do with myself. I had a girlfriend who became a fiance at the time, and she was a chef, and there was an opportunity for a pub restaurant management couple, and she said, "Why don't we do that?" And I said, "Yeah, okay, I don't mind." Um, and um, and that was it. So we became pub managers. Um, she was obviously the chef. I ran front of house and so on. But and that was with Mad O'Rourke, the little pub company. And from there, we were poached by a smaller local chain, and we were persuaded, bribed to leave Column and go to that. And we ran the smallest pub in the chain, and then we ran the biggest pub in the chain, and then I ran the entire chain. They were all pub restaurants. The biggest one was quite busy. We used to do it was 100-seater restaurant, and we used to turn it over twice on a Saturday night, 200 covers. So, really busy. So that was how I first got into it. And then kind of did nothing with it for years and years and years. When that relationship split up, me and Donna, then the job situation kind of finished at around the same time, and I'd kind of had enough of it. It was a hard life back then, and I really didn't fancy it. So that kind of ended. A friend of mine, who was a milkman, believe it or not, spent all of his life savings on buying a pub, and as I was at a loose end, asked would I basically run it for a while and teach him how to do it. And I said, yes, no problem. So that's what I did. And I went in there and did the normal thing you do when you take over a new business. I sacked everybody, but invited them to reapply for their jobs. The normal thing had happened when a place is running down a bit or they know the people are leaving. Some of the staff were thieving. None of them were working as they should be. So, some of the staff I kept on, the ones who were okay, the others I replaced. And when I was running the place, um, some chaps were in, and they were in the process of turning one business into another. They, okay. They were running a golfing magazine, but that was turning into a classic and sports car dealership. And they were talking about cars. And they didn't know as much as I did. I was behind the bar just listening to them, and they were making some mistakes about cars. And by this stage, we were at after hours lock in time because, that was a day 11 o'clock finish. And I put them right about what they were talking. They were talking about classic cars, and I can remember the exact mistake they made actually, but I won't bore you with it. And so I told them the mistakes they were making and blah blah blah, and we talked. It was really late at night. There was, they were drunk. I was running the pub, and they kind of said, how do you know so much about cars? I was only a kid at that time. I was like 23 or 24, something like that. And I said I was brought up with classic cars. I was brought If you know Brian May, Bristol Brian, I was brought up on and around his place. My father's a classic car enthusiast. I've just, I just know this stuff. I'm utterly familiar with it, brought up with it. And they said, you should come and work with us. We're doing this. We're setting this up, blah, blah, blah. I said, oh, yeah, that'd be good fun. Yeah. And didn't think any more about it. And then about however long later, 2, 3, 4 weeks, whatever it was, my mate Chris felt that he was okay to run the pub on his own, the pub and restaurant on his own at that point. And I said, brilliant, you know where I am if you need any help. And I kind of thought, well, okay, what am I going to do now? And I remembered that conversation that night. And I remembered where they said they were. So I thought, well, I'll go and have a look. So the next day, I drove up there, had a look, saw what they were doing. We had a bit more of a chat, sober and in daylight hours. And I agreed to go and work. I agreed to go and work there. And that was it. That was how the car thing started. I went there. I started working as like a salesman, I suppose. The business grew very quickly. I became sales manager, became general manager, and then built the business with Richard. And then when we became bigger still, took on more this, that, and the other, and became a limited company. Then I became managing director, executive director, blah blah blah, and then eventually did a management shareholder buyout. And there you go. That was that. So that was in answer to Caddy Sparks. And look at the time. It's too late. We all need to go. Say your good nights. I need to eat some curry and get some kip. I've got a shop to do tomorrow. Oh, they're all talking about mustards. Willie. Mustard needs to come on the camping trip in case we all get a bit peckish. It'll never happen, M11. Never happen. Oh my God. I can't read any of this. Oh, this is all outrageous. Oh no, I can't read that. I don't want to read that. I wish I hadn't read that. Oh dear God. Oh, this is horrendous. Oh, hello, Simone. Simone's walked in on the middle of it. Good morning, Mr. Boaty. Good morning, Simone. I had a strange dream, says Neil. I was driving to pick my granddad up from Volvo train station. Volvo? Oh, I think that's Wolverhampton train station in my van. And when I got there, I ended up recovering the train. I woke up before I could finish it, but it was strange. My dream trains usually go off the rails and onto onto sand and into hedges, says Matron. Apparently, says Neil, I've asked Soph to marry me when I'm pissed. I've just found out, and the cheeky cow still hasn't given me the answer. As Boaty is 20% gay, says Mustard, he proposes to me about 6 times a month. You wish. You wish. I did tell you I loved you last night. I'll admit that. I meant it too. Neil, mate, you and Sophie will get married. You're just meant to be. You're so good together, says John. And I'd agree with that, actually. Oh, and Neil says, Paul, I'm offended. He's only asked me to marry him twice. Oh, God. Oh, dear. Oh, where's Joe? Asks Andrew Buttigieg. You won't be seeing Joe around here again. Oh, God, now they're talking about, oh, I can't read that. What? What's this, Neil? Paul, I'm guessing he's being a tight sod again. I vote that Paul hasn't got to pay for lunch. Who's with me? I've done the last 4. It's his turn. If you need gas, just bring mustard or bring your pickled onions, according to the M11. The SD1 is rotten, says Simone. It certainly is. Oh, God. We could just have a cheese sandwich, says Mustard. You're buying lunch on Monday. Don't try to weasel out of it. I pay for the yard, says Mustard. Keep up with that. Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. Oh, God, I'm going to end up paying for lunch on Monday. It's so unfair. Actually, I'm going to be the bigger man here. Look at me being the bigger man. Right. If we do lunch with Top Gear Steve Berry, then I'll be recording it for my channel and it might do quite well. So on that basis, I will pay for lunch on Monday. There you go. Or if you want to sort the gas out in advance, because we won't have time on Monday, I will bring Momo and all of the accoutrement for a Momo lunch for 3. But to be honest, that would mean buying another steamer. So be easier to get a takeaway. All right, I'll do Monday if Steve is there. If it's just the 2 of us, you're paying. Right. I can't say fairer than that. Oh, Samrat's here. Good night, old man. And good night to you too, sir. I'll see you tomorrow night, mate. Oh, God. Oh, can I go to bed now? I've just had the urge for a smoke, says Mustard. Weird. The M11 is singing about... Oh, God, I recognise this. I know exactly what tune this is. I say hello, Momo Lube. Goodbye, heart. Sweet Momo Lube, I'm so in love with you. I said hello, Mary Lou. That's hello, Mary Lou, isn't it? Goodbye, heart. Sweet Mary Lou, I'm so in love with you. That wasn't the Everly Brothers either, Spotty Botty. Hello, Mary Lou was Ricky Nelson, I think, although Gene Pitney did a very good cover of it. Smoke Paul, you've definitely been on the brew. Your inner hippie has come out, says Neil. Not really, MS says Mustard. I used to smoke. I stopped about 13 days ago. Sweet. Oh, that doesn't work. That doesn't work, Peter P. He's trying to do Sweet Caroline, but Caroline's got 3 vowels and Momo's only got 2. Sweet Momo. Da da da. Good times never seem so good. Oh dear. I had a wistful memory for a smoke earlier, says Matron. I suddenly randomly wanted a cigarette. Gave up 18 years ago. Still fancied one at lunch today. The flowers are fucked, Boaty, says Jimmy Quinn. Momo lube. I was defeated, you won the war. That was M11. If it's of any use, I'm having a fag right now, says Ivor. Neil says, Trace, it never leaves your brain, unfortunately, once you smoke. You never truly quit. Mamma mia, here we go again. Momo, why'd I ever let you go? Nicotine and sugar, more addictive than heroin. Oh dear. Right, said Fred the Shed. My wife hates smoking, says Mustard. I would probably have given in otherwise. Having seen what smoking did to my parents, I won't start again, says Matron. Oh, thank God, I've caught up with the bloody comments. Oh, right, that's it. I am absolutely knackered. I'm hungry. I'm going to drink some more wine, get a little bit drunk, get some curry down my little red neck, probably propose to someone. I haven't proposed to anybody for ages. I might drunkenly propose to somebody at about 1:40 a.m. Good night, chat, and good night, Boaty, mate, says John. Good night, John. You sleep tight, mate. Thank you for tonight, everybody. It's been tiring. A little bit too much chat about munching on Mustard's penis for me to be entirely comfortable, but there we are. Good night, everyone, says Peter P. Go on, one more. I'm absolutely knackered. It's been one of those nights where I've not really done anything. We've been so dead. And those can be, doing nothing can be more tiring than being really busy. Because you haven't got that adrenaline. Who will Boaty call tonight? Asks Ivor. Spotty Botty. I always do it by message. Always by message. Never a call. I hate talking on the phone. Propose to me again, says Mustard. You might get lucky. Good night, all, says the M11. Sweet dreams of Mustard's penniless widge. Bye, all, says Jimmy. Oh, I got it. That was a tough one. Oh, God. You're going to give me mad dreams, Emma, says Matron. Right, that's it. God knows what I'm going to call this live stream. What am I going to call this live stream? Momo podgering lube and a pendulous widge. That would work. Momo podgering lube and a pendulous widge. Yeah, I quite like that. Hold on. I'm going to forget that, though. Momo podgering lube and a pendulous widge. There you go. That's that sorted. Oh, do a like. Well, yeah, why not? Good night, all, says Matron. I'm off to listen to Ward of the Worlds at top whack in my ears. Ah, Richard Burton. Have a wonderful night, everyone. Ta-ta for now, and thanks for the Momo. Click like if you love mustard sausage, says the M11. Oh, God. Check with Emma first, says Peter P. She has the right to Momo lube. Oh, thank you, Trace. Momo podgering lube and a pendulous widge. There you go. I can screenshot that. Done. Oh God, I meant to finish this. Honestly, I meant to finish this 3/4 of an hour ago. I thought tonight I really need an early night. I was so late going to bed last night, and I was so woozy. It took me ages to get going this morning. I never really got going. It was one of those days where you were always behind like a cow's tail, and I was genuinely going to have an early night. That's not going to happen, is it? What shall I watch? Oh, is there a new Clarkson's Farm out tonight? I think there might be. Go to bed, Boaty. Good advice. There might be a new Clarkson's Farm. No, nobody call in. Bugger off. Andrew, no. Right, that's it. I'm going. Thank you for tonight. It's been great fun. I wouldn't have missed it for the world. Have yourselves a safe and peaceful night, each and every one of you. Thank you for your company. Have the best day that you can tomorrow. Take joy wherever you can, and just take the best care of yourself and those who love you and who you love. And just so much love from me that it is untrue. Join me tomorrow night if you can, same time, same place, 11:30, Saturday Night Live. Boom. And on that note, pachu, and indeed, a momo podgering lube, bosh.